So there are some benefits to student loans, but I don't just look at student loans. I look at resources in the community. There's so many different things that can reduce college tuition. Scholarships are definitely great. A lot of the scholarships that are out there are merit-based, so based upon maybe their academic performance, based upon their athleticism, what have you. Some scholarships that are out there are based upon need. Some look at both. They're merit-based as well as need-based. But in addition to scholarships, there's things like the early college programs. I tell people about those all the time. Early college programs are on campuses of many of the community colleges where a student can concurrently get their high school diploma and their associate's degree. Okay. And a lot of times people don't know about those. That's just one of many. There's way too many for me to mention. I do a whole 90-minute workshop just on that, on resources that can make college affordable, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be scholarships. Like I said, I do believe in student loans, but I don't believe in loans excessively. And certainly, if someone has prepared themselves academically, I can show them how to fund their entire college education without looking at loans. But to me, if a student hasn't academically prepared themselves properly, and their goal is to go to college, right, then I don't rule student loans out for sure, because that may be the only affordable way for them to be able to go and to get that job that they're aspiring to get to. The thing is helping them to understand how to borrow responsibly.
Okay, now I know that within a lot of these schools or financial things, they have like grants. Mm-hmm. Tell the audience what is a grant and why should we be researching to find as much grants that you are eligible to receive, because isn't that free money? Or
it's free money that you don't have to pay back. Correct. We like free money all day, every day, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know a soul that doesn't. Correct. Because it affords you some opportunities. As far as federal grants, and I'm not a financial aid planner. Mm-hmm. I'm, an academic planner, so I would emphasize that. I'll preface it with that. With a lot of the federal grants, though, that are out there, there are some benchmarks income-wise that the parents must meet. And if someone is over a certain income level, for example, a lot of the federal grants that are available to students, those people may not be eligible for based upon the income cutoff or the income limits that are specified by the federal government. But that being said, scholarships, going back to free money, scholarships is another way, and it's just like a grant. Scholarships can come from local organizations. It might come from a national organization or an international organization. There are even individual scholarships that different colleges and universities have. So that's another resource. And again, there's a lot of different resources and money that are out there that can really make college either free or significantly reduce the cost for students and parents. But if they don't attend workshops like the ones we're hosting, they miss out. And it's unfortunate because on the back end, they end up spending several thousands of dollars that they didn't need to spend. So it's unfortunate. One of the recent statistics that I read is that for 2013 graduates, out of any other group in the nation or in the history of this nation, that college graduating class owes more money than any other previous graduating class. I think their average the average student debt for those 2013 graduates was $33,000. And then nationally, the student loan, or the student debt, excuse me, not just loan debt, but student debt period, is $1.2 trillion. That's a lot of money. That's a ton. And when you think of the implications for that, that means families not being able to buy houses and create or generate wealth for themselves. That means people maybe not being able to move in the areas that they want to move into to, be able to afford them the opportunity to take advantage of maybe some of the best schools in the neighborhoods that are in their locations. That means millions of people not being able to maybe start their own businesses because they don't have the resources to do it. when we look at college planning as a whole, I think people think the process is easy, but they don't realize that it's necessary to have a consultant, just like you have a coach with boxing or track or something like that. Sometimes you need a coach and a consultant as well to help you when it comes to academic preparation, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, when we look at the debt, 1.2 trillion, people who've tried to do it on their own aren't being successful. And as a result, it's setting them back, and it's becoming a hindrance for the American public and prevents them from doing all those things that we mentioned, starting businesses, buying houses, or even moving in the neighborhoods that they wanted to move into, that sort of thing. It's a big deal.
Now, you're academic consulting. Okay, why is it so important that they prepare themselves they take tests? And the purpose of the test is what? And why it's important to get as high a grade as possible? What's the importance of those test scores?
Test scores like the college placement
Correct,
test? Correct.
Okay. You know, to decide like what college you can possibly be eligible for attending and stuff.
Okay. Well, for a few reasons, especially if you're referring to like the ACT and SAT.
Correct.
So those college placement tests can really, they're, for a lot of colleges and universities, just quite frankly, they can be a weed out process. For students who don't meet this scoring range, you're not accepted into the school. It's generally a combination, though, of how someone did on a college placement exam as well as how they've done academically overall. So a student's overall cumulative, I can't talk today, cumulative transcripts are what a college reviews, as well as those college placement tests and their scores. And a lot of times that score can be the determinant as to whether or not that student gets a thumbs up or thumbs down. Not to mention, if they score high enough on some of those placement exams, that opens up not the floodgates, but it opens up doors for greater opportunities in terms of scholarship dollars as well. So definitely that's something that we address as well in the consultations, because sometimes I don't know that parents and students understand even how important that is. So great point.
Do you provide training to help these individuals help out in being successful in these tests?
Oh yes. Now actually I don't do the test prep. I do a bit of it, but I actually have some other consultants that I work with for that. That is in and of itself a specialty. What I do is different. What I do is getting them to the college and then giving them the tools and the study habits and the mindset so that they are making those completion rates soar.
How do you get that individual mentally prepared for college?
Well, and again, it's more time than we would be able to go over in this session. But really, I look at three aspects. I look at how to prepare them academically and socially and emotionally. So those are the three components that I focus on. But again, that's several different workshops right there to get them to understand all the aspects that are required. So we'll touch on some of those also at our Teen College Explosion, but those are some of the things that I do on one-on-one consultations. So as far as my objective is to see them get to college and to see them complete college. And particularly when we look at completion rates overall, we talked about the level of student debt overall nationally. I think one of the latest statistics that I read was that 56%, just 56%, so just a little over half of the people that actually start off in completing their bachelor's degree, those that actually decide they're going to go to college and get a bachelor's degree, only 56% of those students actually complete their bachelor's degree within 6 years.
Okay.
So that's even stretching it out 2 years. So if we looked at how many people complete their degrees on time, their bachelor's degrees in 4 years, it'd probably be closer to 47% or something, which is, or lower than that even. So if less than or just over half the people are completing their bachelor's degrees within 6 years, there's a problem. And that's a whole lot of people, again, that are coming out with some college and a whole lot of debt. Some college, again, means that you don't have your degree yet, you got some debt, and then you're still not able to get to that job that you're reaching, that you want to reach. And that's where I come in. I come in and fill in the gap so that way we get them to college, we get them to complete college, and we get them on track for what it is they aspire to do.
When you have someone that didn't complete college, how do you get them back into possibly going back into getting that degree?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a few things. I make them aware of some resources that are available. For example, there are a lot of colleges that have accelerated degree programs. There are, of course, now a plethora of schools that have online programs, which makes it a whole lot easier than it ever was before for adults to return to school. And then I sit down with them and look at what their goal is in terms of what it is they're trying to do to make sure that it's realistic. And then too, we look at, what their timeline is. When are they trying to accomplish this by? So for those that are returning to school, I let them know about different resources in the community, especially schools that have evening programs or online programs or maybe accelerated degree programs. We look at, like I said, what their timeline is. And of course, we look at what it is they want to do, because not all the time does, what they want to do maybe require a degree. It may require a certificate or some licensing that they weren't aware of.
Okay, now let's get back into the adults. How do you get them into the mind frame of coming back and getting that, completing that education? Because when you're inside a classroom with high school, possibly 18, 19, there's going to be like a total different environment. How do you get them to realize that that's where they're going to be?
Right. I'll be honest, I don't really do a whole lot of marketing to reach out to get the adults. Most of the adults that I've encountered that want to go back to school have reached out to me. They were either a referral or they've attended one of our other workshops, and then from there been motivated and approached me.
We're running short of
Okay.
time, Jamila. If someone wants to get in contact with you, how would they go about doing that?
They can either give me a call at 704-293-5699. They can reach me by email at encouraging1@live.com, or they can check me out on my blog. It's ewcollegeprep.com.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the show. You be encouraged.